Hello, welcome back for our next episode of Animus. I'm really excited to get into this episode because we're gonna have a little shopping trip for everybody to process everything that happened last episode, and then we're gonna do a little jump forward to catch up with the events of Violentis, and get into some more of that story. So it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited for it. Before we jump in, though, I'm gonna say a few words about our sponsors, which I'm putting into chat now. They are Fundamental RPG. It's the system that Animus runs on. It looks like this. You can pick up your copy on Amazon if you want the book, or if you want a PDF, you can grab that at coffee.com/raven, like it's spelled at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. I believe I mentioned it's what powers Animus, and it's a simple D20 system. It's not tied to a genre, so you can use it for stuff like this, which is sci-fi, or you can use it for high fantasy, or everything in between. And then our other sponsor is Die Hard Dice at dieharddice.com. They sell amazing polymer and metal dice sets and accessories. You can pick up your order for 10% off if you use the code FUNRPG, all one word in all caps. And then I highly recommend checking out the Fairy set. Let me grab a couple of these dice so you can see them. So they look like this. They're really pretty. They're a lot of fun to roll, and there's a link to those right in chat. Also, I apologize if I'm a little hard to understand. I'm just getting over the flu after being sick in bed for 2 weeks, so bear with me if I have to cough a lot. That's it for our sponsors. If you want to catch up on this show or any others that we have on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network, or over on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Blackfeather Guild. It should pop right up. That's it for all of that, so we'll do our intros here, starting at the top left with Jay. Tell us a little bit about Sparky and yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay, or Alien Jays. I am wearing red, but it looks pink. Or fuchsia, or whatever, color scheme you like. I am a writer and an exhausted human being, and tonight I'm playing Sparky, who is not a writer and also an exhausted human being. They are a clone of a clone, potentially, who is not too chuffed about being a clone and now has to deal with their clone surrogate father on board to help take down capitalism, I guess, and also fashion. So that's where I'm at.
Fantastic. Next, we've got V. Tell us a little bit about Annie and yourself.
Hi, I'm V, or Vanessa. I am an artist. I work oh my goodness. Wow, off to a great start. I work primarily now in digital and occasionally pencil sketch and watercolor. My goodness. If you want to check out the work that I do, you can certainly do so. I have an art Twitter, which is at Peppero Draws, and that's Peppero like the candy, just below my name tile there. And I recently just posted a collaboration piece that I did with one of my best friends, where she did the line art and I did all the coloring. It's very pretty. Go check it out. I play Annie. She is, I always describe her like a Robin Hood kind of character, but rather than stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, she steals from the rich and sells to the slightly less rich. She kind of got into this place where, due to circumstances of the past, she didn't like what the big corps were doing. So she was like, you know what? I'm going to steal all your shit and give it to guys who will run with it. She also has a little brother, Liam, who is currently on the ship with her. They did save him in the past from the cartel when he came looking for her. So it's very lovely to have him in a spot where she can keep her eyes on him. Even though he still gets into all of those shenanigans with Seth. But yeah, so she's the only one of the crew who decided to voluntarily get her memories back. So she remembers everything from the past. But yeah, she's just chilling, kicking it out. She's probably going to help Billy find some really cool clothes this session. So look forward to that, I guess. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Next, we've got Alex. Tell us a little bit about Billy and yourself.
Hi, I woke up 20 minutes ago. I play Billy, and I'm an artist from Canada. Billy is fairly new to the world, because up until recently, she's been living on an asteroid as an indentured servant, or basically indentured worker, generation worker, at this rate, and in a mining colony in the asteroid belt. So the concept of owning her own things and just being given things, and it's all very new for her.
Awesome. Next we've got Hannah. Tell us a little bit about Lev and yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Hannah, or Whoa Hannah, and today I will be playing Lev, who is the newest member of the crew. Well, maybe not a member of the crew yet, but I am on the ship because I was hit with it last session. I'm not 100% sure these people are okay. Gonna just hang out in my cell.
Awesome. Next we've got Goody. Tell us a little bit about Captain and yourself.
I'm Goody. I play the captain of the ship. Captain is an android, and she tries to run the ship as best she can. She's trying to understand humans. Humans are complicated, and she hates dairy of all kinds, but that's her problem. But yeah, she loves plants and horticulture, and she's just kind of doing her best because she didn't want to be captain, but everyone else made her captain. So what are you gonna do, right?
It's true. She was the last to get, her finger on her nose, so.
She didn't call it antlers.
Yep.
I could honestly see this crew deciding who's going to be captain that way, so...
Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't.
I mean, it was kind of close to that. It wasn't quite that, but it wasn't far
Really
off.
Captain to be captain.
Yeah. All right, that just leaves me. I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for all the various things that I do, most of which are tabletop related or adjacent. My link tree is there in chat if you want to check out all my stuff. And then I'm the GM, so I play everybody else in the galaxy, including I've lost count of how many people on the ship now, because as mentioned, this crew adopts NPCs like crazy. So I play Rip, who's been a overarching big bad, who is now helping the crew. Daisy, who was season 1's big bad, who was basically adopted by the crew, and her actual dad was on the ship for a while. Let's see, we've got Liam, which is Annie's little brother, and then Seth, who tried to kidnap the doctor in season 2, I think, and got adopted. So the crew's basically Goku. All the villains just get adopted at some point, so it's great. But I play all of those regularly, and then we've got tons of NPCs in the universe as well. We left off last session, which it's been a hot minute since I got sick for a couple of weeks there. So a quick sort of recap on that. Lev hit the ship hit Lev, whichever one you want to call it in space. Got pulled into the ship by a captain, and has been recovering in the med bay. Daisy has been taking apart the med bay, trying to get data off the computer from the last doctor, who they found out was working for the cartel for a little while under everyone's nose. Let's see. Kind of processing what to do with the information that Rip provided about these androids with human brains that have been flash cloned and then sort of flash programmed with memories of actual soldiers that are alive, which is by out of character standards is very questionable to begin with, but in universe advanced cybernetic beings are very regulated and mostly illegal. So in universe, this is super duper problematic. So you've got that information, trying to figure out what to do with it. Kind of decided to go on a shopping trip because Billy needs clothes, and Lev probably needs clothes, and kind of trying to figure out what to do. I think that was everything. Did I miss anything that anybody recalls?
I think that's it.
Did Sparky and Rip have their conversation?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
is that going to be an
Good point.
off-screen thing?
Yeah.
We
that
never
was
did
supposed
go
to
over
be
that.
this episode.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. I totally blanked on that.
So
Definitely not anxiety putting into the back of my head. Like, don't just
Just don't
Put a
think
plan
about
out.
it. It's fine. It's fine.
we can
It's like a
do
bird
that
cage.
now if you want, or we can flash back to that either way.
let's let's flash back to it. We'll do shopping first. Let's
All
get
right.
like a good vibe first, and then get into the horribly depressing.
Good vibes and sadness.
Yeah.
Now that being said, Jay, if the mood starts out bummer, then it can only go up from there.
That sounds that sounds good.
That
in
sounds like you're trying to
theory.
tempt fate.
You've
I'm
never
just
been in
saying.
a conversation with a really depressed person. It can go down. It can definitely go down.
It's true.
I will
You
find
thought
the
rock
core of
bottom
that
was the
planet.
lowest you could go.
I brought a drill.
Time for molten trauma. But yeah, we can go to that after the fashion. Fair warning, I am running on very little sleep, so it's going to be wild tonight.
Oh, that's no problem. That's just funny. Yep, we hit bedrock trauma. Well,
Yeah,
trying to get time to get drilling. Love that. Anyways, you're close by to Pezzo Station 329, which is sort of in between Mars and Ceres. I think the plan was to shop there, but you can always go anywhere that you would like. So, is that still your plan?
Yeah, like it's close, so.
As far as I know, yeah.
All right. Then, yeah, it's not too far from Mars, so it's just a quick hop over. You don't need to roll piloting or anything like that. Your trip's pretty uneventful. And you get there, and it is a bustling spaceport. It's a lot of the space stations and hubs of that variety in this universe implement the classic rings around a column kind of design. Most of them have, a couple of rings for like fuel stops and places like that. This one has upwards of 3. So it is massive. There are ships coming and going constantly, most of them with like a big Pezos logo on it. So it's sort of the sci-fi equivalent of semi-trucks coming and going out of like an outlet mall. There is plenty of ports that you can pull into to park, and the inside is set up much like a modern day indoor outlet mall with just tons and tons of shops organized in various categories. So like you can go to this section for electronics, this section for like clothes, things like that. And there's a massive food court on the middle ring. So it's very busy, lots of different kinds of people there. So once you've pulled in, where do you want to go from there?
I have a very important question.
Mhm.
Am I staying in the isolation room, or can I come shopping?
I guess we'll find out, huh?
I guess we'll find out.
I mean, realistically, if you're not on the ship, then you can't be too much of a menace or a hazard to the ship. So maybe it would be better to take you with us.
Can't sabotage a ship if I'm not on it.
Right?
Exactly. Precisely.
Or maybe
with
you
that
have
attitude.
someone you can call to pick you up if you know.
Okay with the idea of leaving somebody alone on the ship with Daisy anymore.
Yeah.
Knowing Liam and Seth, they'd probably just let you out anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a
Hey, do you
I
like
don't trust
smoking?
them.
Lev is very laid back and very buff. I feel like I could impress 2 teenage boys.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
They're not
that's what I'm
hovering, Braz.
fearful of. Let's take Lev with us.
Oh, that's amazing.
Impressionable. That's a word I would use for them. I think Sparky's gonna hit up a more like professional looking kind of store, like not quite business, but like business casual, I guess. Not a place where you walk in and they're like, "Oh, dear, I hope you have money." Not one of those places.
All right.
I'm just in the background building a collage of fashion. So.
All right, perfect. Yeah, who's gonna let Lev out of the infirmary, and how does that conversation go?
I feel like I've only met Captain and Daisy, right?
Captain will talk
I
to
think
her.
so.
And Rip, because I think Rip was in there too.
No, I think Rip stayed in the
No, Rip
cafeteria.
stayed in the
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't
Mess
remember if
hall.
he was
Wait,
in there
Rip
when
was
that
just
all
like-
happened.
Oh, this
I
shit,
believe-
you don't have plans. This shit just happens to you.
Rip was being
Basically.
guarded by Liam.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Captain will talk to Lev.
Okay. So you head down to the infirmary. Daisy's still in there. With there's like bits of wire and connectors and things like that littered all over the floor. But the computer console is like on and it looks like it's working now. So
Good.
Daisy's like, "Hey, Captain." So I'm gonna clean this up in a minute.
Hello, Daisy. That's fine. Just don't create further hazards. And she like steps gingerly over the wires and stuff.
All right, as you do, she's got like a duffel bag, and she's basically just sticks her arm on the table and just scoops everything into this bag, continuing to clean up and put things while you're talking.
I hate that. Anyway, Lev,
Hello.
we are stopping at a large. What's the word I want to use? We're stopping at a large commercial space station. There are many places to purchase items of need. Would you like to come with us?
Well, I ain't got any money on account of having been, spaced.
Would you like to simply stretch your legs on somewhere?
Actually, that sounds fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, getting a bit stiff in here.
Are the accommodations not adequate?
No, I'm just used to, actually getting to work out a bit.
You exercise regularly?
Gotta. How else are you gonna keep these?
Your muscular structure is very impressive. Daisy, would you mind lowering the force field, please?
And at this point, Daisy's like on hands and knees, picking up bits and bobs off the floor that have just sort of been littered and obviously thrown around. And she looks up and goes, yeah, just hit the button. It should work now.
Fantastic. I hit the button.
Yeah, it works just fine now.
Finally.
Not at risk of being trapped in with me again. And Level, just very casually follow Captain.
The crew of the ship is quite amiable, though we often have strange quirks. I am not the best to describe them, as I am not human, but do be careful with what you address them with.
Is there something I should know before? Humans got quirks. That's just how humans is. But if there's something I should be careful of in advance, I would appreciate a heads up.
The man that is new on our ship. He wears a leather duster. He has tried to murder us numerous times before. So...
Okay, yeah, no. Things are starting to... Okay.
We all come from various backgrounds, so do not make any assumptions with us.
You literally picked me off the hull of your ship.
Exactly.
What kind of assumptions I'm gonna make?
Trust me, we will catch you by surprise. None of us seem to fit any kind of... I believe the word is stereotype. Even I am not a standard android.
That was kind of obvious. You're leagues above anything I've ever met. Sorry. Is that rude? Is this thing rude? Sorry.
Not to me, but maybe others would find it rude. I am not a monolith. But you are welcome to come with us on the shopping excursion, and if you wish to find another ship elsewhere, you are welcome to, or if you are also welcome to stay with us on our ship.
You've been keeping me in the isolation bay, and now you're inviting me to stay on your ship?
I have never said that we made intelligent decisions, but letting you loose on a station makes more sense than just letting you loose on our ship. The station is not my ship.
Hi. Far be it for me to reject such kindness. I'm gonna label it kindness. We're gonna say kindness.
I will take kindness.
Love does an after you motion.
If you would like food, the cafeteria is this way.
Oh yes, food sounds fantastic.
Leads her to the mess hall.
From as you just barely get out of the door into the hallway, you can hear from inside the infirmary Daisy call out and be like, I called dibs on the blue one, so don't touch those.
On the what?
She's referring to some blue packaged food.
Okay.
Talk to you later, Daisy. You've been lovely company.
Her head pokes around the corner after you say that, and she gives you awkward finger guns and then goes back to cleaning the infirmary.
I'm gonna finger guns back, honestly.
Daisy is one of our youngest occupants of the ship.
Makes sense. She's pretty, I mean, not that I'm judging again. I'm used to dealing with a lot older people, honestly.
To be fair, I seem older. I am only about 4 years old. By human years.
Very eloquent for 4.
I appreciate that. And then just keeps walking towards the mess hall.
Let's just gonna look at the ship as we walk.
Okay. In the mess hall is still Rip. Is anyone else in the mess hall?
Distinctly not.
Okay.
Billy had headed back there to eat food.
All right. Where's Annie?
Where is Annie?
Sorry.
Where's Annie?
Sorry, I'm trying to get the dog to stop barking. She sees something outside.
No worries.
I didn't want to unmute while she was barking. So this is after that we've just reached the station, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to see with Alex's input here. Annie did suggest that we stop at the station to pick up some new clothes for Billy. So Alex, how do you feel about Annie taking Billy to her quarters and like trying to hold up different styles of clothes to Billy to see what fits?
I'm sorry, who were you asking that of?
You. So Annie was the one to suggest clothes for Billy.
Yeah.
Annie would probably
Billy
bring Billy back to her quarters and like start taking stuff out of her closet and like holding it up to Billy to see what Billy likes.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
With this.
Cool. In that case, I would say that Annie and Billy are still probably in Annie's quarters. She's just kind of going through her wardrobe, picking out different styles, seeing how tall is Billy.
Billy is. Did I write it on our character sheet? 1 second. I'm just making sure I don't have like a canon thing I've already said or written somewhere yet.
I feel that in my soul.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing you say that, but then again, I forget things very easily. So
Also, Billy is 28. She is not the youngest of all y'all. She's almost 30. Yeah. Y'all just assumed she's a baby face because she knows nothing.
I feel like I'm going to be the oldest one here.
How old's your character?
Love is 37.
Oh, God. This is what it was like when I was playing Seattle because he was in his 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, she's about 5'8". Like, she's
okay.
Not exactly tall, but not exactly short. She's built like she's got robotic muscles.
Okay. Well, in terms of height, Annie, I think flat-footed Annie is 5'9", I believe I said.
Yep.
With
So
her
this
boots,
works out well.
she's about 6 feet. So yeah, that's pretty good. She would probably be pulling as many stretchy materials out of her closet as she can, because I think Billy's probably built a little bit.
She's a bit thicker.
Yeah.
She's
Annie's probably
kind of built. She's kind of built like a shit brick house.
Yeah, Annie is a little more slender on the slender side. Yeah.
She doesn't look like a strong breeze will push her over.
Okay. Yeah. In that case, Annie is probably pulling out like stretchy materials and as much room as she can get just to see for different styles. She's like, Billy, try this on here. Like try these pants. Look at this shirt.
She's definitely one for like the different like layers of clothes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Annie notices. Like she really likes being able to do layers so you can get like different patterns and colors in one outfit.
Yeah. And Annie has a lot of like, what's it called? Like tech wear.
Yep.
That's kind of the style Annie goes for typically. So she's just trying to like layer different styles and kind of like I'm sure she has like utility belts and stuff like that, like smaller versions of them clipping on and stuff like that, just to see what Billy likes best. But that's probably what they're doing for the majority of the way there.
Okay. Well, in that case, when Captain and Lev head into the mess hall, sounds like it's just Rip there and then Billy after doing the fashion stuff, or the fashion stuff with Annie, or is that before doing that?
Well, the fashion stuff is probably on the way there. So Billy, you're free to do whatever you want once we get there, I guess. Annie's not going to go to the mess hall, but Billy is free to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we've got Billy and Rip in there, and let's see, Seth's not in there. We'll say Liam's in there. So we got Liam, Rip, Billy in the mess hall as Captain and Lev walk in. So what is Lev?
Billy is probably the only person not giving Rip the cold shoulder.
Yeah, Liam's just like sitting at the table, leaning back, not quite like legs up on the table, but like maybe legs up on like the table leg, sort of leaning back.
Kind of leaning, yeah.
Eating some sort of something analogous to popcorn. And yeah, is just sort of staring a hole right through Rip, who's doing his best to ignore it. So that sort of.
Sorry to interrupt. All I could picture was Rip doing the same, like lean back, but with the cowboy hat tipped down.
Oh yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that. Actually, I like that. So that's the scene that you walk into.
Lev's just gonna be lined for wherever the food is. Like, can I go through this? Can I eat this?
Certainly. I'm also capable of producing simple foods. If you want something more elaborate, I would have to call another member of the crew.
Oh no, I don't need any fancy shit. I'll just make whatever.
Go ahead. We have an exceptional amount of dairy.
Okay. So like Level go through something like, oh gods, you guys got fancy shit. Oh, there's nothing like this out on the rim.
There's no monetary value to any of the items. Eat what you wish.
I think I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's beautiful.
We have tissues.
Thank you. So I was just gonna go about avoiding whatever the blue is.
All right. Yeah, there's tons of food in the cabinets, and in the fridge is some like fresh produce and just an exorbitant amount of cheese, and probably still a large amount of ice cream. Because I think Daisy bought a shit ton of ice cream the last time y'all were in a port. So it's probably still a lot of that in there. As you're doing that, Rip looks at Captain and tips his hat and sort of nods and goes, "Captain," and then looks over at Lev and does the same and goes, "Tumbleweed."
Duster.
He just sort of smirks at that and nods.
Billy, like her head jerks up, and she's like, "Wait, you all use call signs out here too?"
Not call signs. I believe they call them nicknames.
Well,
Call
it's the same
signs,
thing,
nicknames.
isn't it?
Same. And like Level
And like
do a
Billy
little
points
head
to Lev,
tilt.
it's like, see, Tumbleweed gets it.
Do you have a name you would be referred to called?
I mean, not really. I didn't really get anything cool. For mine.
We'll work on it.
That's fine.
I mean, borehole doesn't really have the same sort of connotations.
That's a terrible name. And I don't mean that offensively.
Yeah, Rip does look over at Billy and in response to you all use call names. He's like, "You don't think my actual given name was Rip, do you?"
I mean, there's a person named Sparky on the ship.
Oh,
What is your given name, Rip, if you don't mind telling?
I mean,
he just sort of sips his coffee out of his mug. He's like, "I think I'm gonna keep that one to myself."
That is fine. I do not have a name at this point.
man, I wonder though, what kind of world would you be from to be named Rip? Like, what sort of Rip are you? Are you like a Rip in a jeans?
Do you let her
Are you
rip?
an annoyance?
He's sort of
A small thing that needs to be repaired?
Something in a space-time continuum.
Jay. Jay in chat, just for anybody that can't see chat, Jay just said, "I bet his real name is Torn, but it sounded stupid in his hometown."
Well, because then he'd be Torn Rose.
Yep. So,
Does not sound good.
you know, he just sort of shrugs. It's like, and looks to Captain and it's like, "How delicate do I need to be around this one?" He points at Billy.
She is from the mines and has been there her whole life. I assume you understand what their what their livelihood is like.
Right. So I'm gonna go with less graphic. I got the name because I was known to when I was young and ambitious and first in the cartel, newly enlisted. I may have.
Oh, you rip body parts off people.
There you go. That he sort of does like
That makes sense.
the wink and the noise, and goes back to drinking his coffee.
Your bladder space must be immense because you have drank much coffee, but I have not seen you visit any kind of restroom.
Oh, do you have an autofilter in your kidneys and liver too?
Sorry, I know 100% this is just because I've been watching a ton of Letterkenny lately. But the first thing that popped in my head and probably would pop into Rips, he just looks up and he goes, "You're spare parts, ain't you, buddy?"
I am made from many parts. I do not know what kind of parts I'm made from.
So he's talking to Billy.
Billy's just like, I mean, kind of, yeah. Well, actually, no, and I think that's the problem.
I've examined her parts. They come from very prestigious units. They're fine pieces. Nothing about her is spare. No more than anything about me is spare.
He just shakes his head, sort of does the fingers to the bridge of his nose. Like, don't worry about it. No, I guess I have a above average ladder. I don't know.
You have a ladder.
A ladder?
Is that not what you
Large
said?
ladder.
I don't. I was talking about my bladder.
Yeah, a ladder, a large bladder.
I heard ladder. Excuse me.
I thought we were going shopping. This is Lev from the
Do you
kitchen.
not wish to eat first?
Sorry. Chat is derailing my line of thought so hard today, and I'm kind of okay with it. Bad Medicine in chat just said, "A murderous space cowboy got adopted by the crew the other day." And it's not wrong.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah,
Do you not wish to eat first?
And Lev just like shoves the food in their mouth.
Humans are weird. Yes, we will go shopping.
Rip just looks at you all and is like, "Going shop, yeah.
It seems to be what the crew needs. Do you have an issue? We can leave you behind if you wish.
Against my better judgment, no. Don't leave me behind. I'll come with you."
Excellent.
So Rip gets ready to leave. Sounds like everybody else is. Liam has not said a word and is continuing to eat the popcorn-like snack.
Since it seems like good manners, Lev.
Rip just sort of nods and tips his hat to you. Liam, without getting up, holds out a hand in your direction. Says, "Oh, hey, I'm Liam."
Like Lev looks at Billy.
Annie's little brother.
Don't think I've met that one yet.
Oh, hi, I'm Billy Briggs. And she holds out her hand to shake.
Lev has a strong grip.
She returns it with exactly the same force that you give.
That's a good shake.
Thank you. My arms are not mine.
Is that
Originals.
a human thing? To give strong handshakes?
Well, I mean, I figure you're supposed to give back the same amount of force that they give you, right? That's only polite.
I think it's like an old superstitious thing about character or some shit. I don't know.
What does a handshaking have to do with your character?
Rip clears his throat. Unless Lev is about to say something.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Rip clears his throat and, sounding uncharacteristically educated, goes on to explain, well, the theory is that if you have a soft handshake, then you've not done much manual labor, and therefore, in certain circles, you have less value. That would be the case where I grew up on Mars. So a strong handshake is an indication that you've done a lot of manual labor and are therefore a strong person and are reliable. It goes back to the survival parts of the human brain. Strong people will help you survive.
Actually listening to this fascinated.
And then with that, he tips his hat and drinks his coffee again.
Just constantly hat tipping.
One day something's gonna fall off of his hat. I'm so confused how it got there.
You know, he decided to go with the space cowboy look years ago and has just doubled down so many times that it's all about the hat tipping now.
Little do they know it's just an ill-fitted hat, and he just has to keep
It's constantly adjusted.
That's his problem, is he's always had a hat that's a little bit too tight. That's why he's in such a foul mood all the time.
Oh, he's like the
It's
Grinch.
like the Grinch with his shoes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Grinch with the shoes and his art.
That's why he has a headache. It's definitely not all the things that you have done to make his life a living hell.
The fact that
That's not
these
my
people
problem.
find out about war crimes and decide to go shopping.
Listen, if Rip wants to bitch about it, it's a two-way street. He can take it up with the council.
Yeah, basically.
That's fair. Rip Redemption Arc New Fedora. Oh my
A
God.
fedora! Oh my god!
Boy.
All right, moving right along.
Only the proper fedora and not a trilby.
Sure, that's
Both
fair.
are equally horrible.
You could get
Can
him
we
a pork
say
pie.
no?
Yes, we could get him a pork pie instead.
Oh my goodness. So we're gonna fast forward just a touch. Everybody's on the space station. It's bustling and busy. Let's start with Annie. I assume you're gonna be hanging out with Billy. But what do you do first? Where do you go?
So, as the leader of this tiny two-person expedition, Annie is going to go to any shops that look like they would sell clothes her speed, and she's just going to start pulling things off racks. She's in charge here. She's going to do all the shopping for Billy.
All right. And this is literally imagine Amazon, the website, but a physical store, and that's what this is. So pretty much anything you could possibly want is here.
And like holding stuff, like very easily. Even as the pile gets higher than her head.
Annie, like, as soon as she starts pulling things off racks, she turns to Billy, takes Billy by the hand, and holds her arm out, and then just starts like throwing clothes over her arm.
Billy T-poses to make this easier.
Annie's just like, okay, that works.
Amazing. How about Sparky? You mentioned you were. What were you doing at the?
Doing fashion is not ready yet, but yes, I think Sparky is kind of beelined off on their own, specifically to avoid Rip in any capacity, and to try not to have flashbacks of the last time they met Rip on a station while they were clothes shopping.
Fair. Okay. How about Lev and Captain?
I really like the idea that I have not even introduced myself to these two other people. They just pieced the fuck out. I'm just like, okay,
Listen, we're all in the same ship. It's fine. We'll meet eventually.
It is. It's a bigger ship than the last one, but it's still a small ship. So what are Captain and Lev shopping for?
I have no money.
If there's anything you wish to purchase, you may use the ship's funds.
You just met me.
That is fine. If you need any kind of... What's the word I want? Fuck.
You think they got guns?
I would imagine they have guns here. Do you wish to use the guns on the crew?
No.
If you wish to purchase guns, I'm sure they have guns here.
I'm just a bit mad because Zev took my good gun when they spaced me. She spaced me.
Zev, we have worked with her before. She
Small
spaced you.
universe.
I would imagine. It does not surprise me that she's spaced you. She is very temperamental.
You ask the leader not to blow up her own people once.
As I said, she's very temperamental.
I
I
also
will
wouldn't
purchase
mind.
you guns.
You're like my new favorite person.
I appreciate that you consider me a person.
We're just gonna move past that one. Honestly, some clothes might be nice. I've been in this for God knows how long. In space.
Certainly. There are plenty of places to purchase clothing for you. I do not.
Right, yep.
I do not understand what kind of clothing you would prefer, but you may lead me
Something's
places.
dirty.
Many clothes are considered sturdy. Do you have a style you prefer?
How just I don't know, plain working clothes is fine. A nice
Working
jacket
clothes.
maybe.
Do you have a
Proper-
profession? You said you were a doctor.
Medic, technically. I ain't take no Hippocratic oath or nothing.
Understandable. I'm sure we can find some clothing for you under that kind of area.
Yeah, much obliged.
Certainly. Our ship is not short of funds. We have completed many missions of questionable origin.
Something you said. Your last doctor left you.
Oh, they did not leave. They died. But I suppose before they died, they were trying to leave. We did not kill them, though. They
Is
were
Rip
trying
still
to.
with us?
Yeah. I mean, actually, he's probably still standing right next to you. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna check something. Let's test a little something here.
Oh, do we have to?
If either of you would like, you can roll sight or hearing. That was a really low roll for him.
I'll roll a sight for funsies.
I'll roll it for funsies too.
All right, so Lev doesn't notice Rip standing there.
Where is my sight? There it
Lev's
is.
distracted because Lev hasn't been in a big station like this in a fucking while. Oof!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, it's not that bad.
My eyes blipped.
you have a little bit of a freak out because your system's supposed to keep track of everything that you hear and see, and so it's literally like does not compute. Rip just materialized out of thin air. So as you say that the doctor died and but we didn't kill them. Rip just clears his throat. Was like, yeah, that was me. They were they were about to bring the cartel down on all of these folks. So shot him in the face.
Correct. He did that. However, beforehand, he had been quite antagonistic towards us.
Your doctor.
Correct. They were against us at that point.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they apparently got their memories back and tried to hop on board with their old employer, the cartel, my former employer. And well, at that point, I decided I'd had enough and was already switching sides, and so I figured, if I'm trying to throw in with this lot, I should probably keep them alive.
Wait, I can't remember. Does Lev know that we lost our memories?
No. Maybe?
I don't think so.
No, that doesn't sound like something I would know.
Daisy mentioned... Daisy told everything to Billy, but I don't think that was in front of Lev.
Yeah, I don't think I was there yet. So, y'all get into danger a lot?
Yes, at this point. However, it is not by ways all of us understand, but at other times it is our doing. We have occasionally stolen artifacts. But
I've been out for a good while, so I don't really know many people in the area. If you're looking for a medic type,
if you wish to stay with our ship, we would certainly not say no unless you have some sort of ulterior motive towards us.
Honestly, at this point, I'm just like, why not shack up with the random people who I hit their ship and then they let me stay and now are paying for guns and clothes for me.
Do you work for anyone?
Not anymore.
Understandable. If you do work for anyone, your consequences will be dire.
Well, I know what you did to your last doctor, so.
Oh, we did not do that. That was Rip.
Yeah,
he was not part of our crew at that point.
Yeah, Rip clears his throat again. It's like, yep, that was me.
However, the consequences would still be dire. Do you understand?
Loud and clear.
Wonderful. Now, we do have many weapons on the ship. Do you still wish to purchase some here? Or clothes?
I'd like just a nice, solid semi-automatic, honestly.
I can purchase you one of those. I understand humans like to place ownership over things that they put monetary value over.
It's just nice to have things that's yours. You're not worried about someone else using your gun.
I can understand the object of that. Let us go purchase you a gun.
All right. With that, you are able to find a weapon store that has just about everything that you could possibly want in like the small arms variety. Nothing like Probably nothing like in the way of an automatic weapon, no explosives or anything like that, but like civilian style weapons, they've got tons of them. So you're able to get whatever you'd like. For stats, stat purposes, well, I guess let me ask you this. Are you going for like, excuse me, a small handgun type semi-automatic gun, or like a hand cannon?
The image I had in my mind was like your very bog standard, chunky base rifle that video games have.
Okay. Yeah, they've got one of those, and that's like a D8 weapon.
Okay.
So for stat purposes, I think y'all are up to how many dice are you up to on your weapons?
Right now, we're level
I think
17.
I'm at 2 something.
Yeah. So yeah, you're up to 2 weapon dice. So when you roll damage, it'll be 2d8 for that one.
C'est magnifique.
And yeah, Rip goes on a little shopping trip of his own. Whereas he'd had a black duster and a black cowboy hat with, you know, the leather pants and everything. The next time you see him, he has brand new dark blue jeans with like brown leather chaps, a brown duster, and a gray Stetson.
Gotta have the Stetson though.
Yep.
Lev is going to mostly find very like plain, probably some turtlenecks, regular pants, and then just very specifically one of those denim, but fur trimmed denim jackets.
Nice.
That is what I want.
I love that.
With like the fur lapel or whatever, the trendy thing lately.
I love it. So yeah, you're able to find that as well. Zero problems. The rest of the NPCs on the ship do their own little shopping. Oh, my brain just went blank. Give me just a second. It's rebooting.
Windows startup noises.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, Daisy goes on a shopping trip and gets more clothes. She definitely has way more clothes than she needs at this point. And also some equipment to help clone and decrypt all the doctors, the previous doctor's data. As well as a few tech upgrades for various little things on the ship. Little quality of life things, nothing too major. Seth also buys guns. And some other, like, security type stuff. And then Liam kind of wanders aimlessly around the mall and buys a few odds and ends. But that's about it. So, that's kind of what they do. Is there anything else that anyone wants to do while they're here on this space station shopping?
Y'all got books? Y'all got books on your ship?
I do not know if any others carry books. I do not require books as I am an android and have access to
You want to get
many
books
information.
with battle, and those weren't books you want to find.
I do not know if anybody on the ship has books. I do know humans like reading as a leisure hobby.
I'm pretty fond of it myself, so
I'm sure this place has books if you would like to find books. I understand humans require hobbies for their mental health.
that is pretty important. Yeah.
Then let us find books. What sort of books do you prefer? Do you prefer nonfiction or fiction or science fiction?
I do like some nonfiction, but I really like philosophy.
Philosophy, a very human concept.
Eh,
I do
About as
not
human as you
prefer-
get.
I do not prefer philosophy, as many of the questions they prefer have statistical answers, but the philosophers do not like those answers. So I do not enjoy philosophy.
Some things, though. Some things you can't answer statistically.
Many can be, but as I said, they do not like the answer.
That does sound like philosophers.
We can go find books. That is fine.
There.
Loves,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Loves having a grand time with Captain. Lives like that. No one else,
Right.
and is just like, I like this android.
There are like a couple of bookstores for like literal paper books, but it seems to be at like a highly specialized item. Like there's not a lot. It's like going to like a music store, and they have vinyls, but it's only like the super mainstream bands and stuff like that. So if you're looking for anything remotely out of the ordinary, they're probably not going to have it in a physical book. But there are tons of kiosks with like tablets that you can load books onto, and like books, audiobooks and stuff like that.
Love considers the physical book like collection with a small amount of disappointment, and eventually like just picks one. It's like, it's a place to start.
What book did you select?
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Oh, I apologize. I will not ask again.
Now you know where I get it for our group, Hannah.
Okay. You make me do this all the time, but then I just make shit up. I'm not prepared. I'm prepared as Nocturne to make up random stuff.
Make it up. It's space.
Any books from modern day would be considered classics at this point.
Star Wars novels.
Yep, it's
Mauve
true.
Floyd, the failed cover
The
band.
Twilight series.
A Court of Thorns and Roses. That's what I'm reading right now.
Shitty Space
oh,
Cowboys.
The
and
second
Where to
book,
Find Them.
anyway.
Oh, I get a picture of Dorian Gray.
Awesome.
It's a
Oh my
good
god.
one.
Has anyone, sorry, this is a total non-tangent, but has anyone written a book called The Selfie of Dorian Gray?
God, I want them to. Oh my god, I want them to.
That just came out of nowhere.
That's
Please,
amazing.
yes. Please,
Oh my
yes.
god, all of Chuck Tingle's are gonna novels are gonna be considered classics now.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I think only
Beautiful.
good
Oh no.
good books become classics.
No, they
Mm.
don't. I've read plenty
Oh.
of bad classics.
That's okay.
It's
That's
true.
fair. That's very fair.
Oh, all right. So
I'm sorry, but
I'm
Charles
trying-
Dickens,
I've also-
I don't know where he gets off.
I don't want to know where he
Fair.
gets off.
I don't either. But like the importance of being earnest, that book can die in a fire.
the
I
movie was
have
good.
never met anyone who likes that book at all, and I had to read that book and I hate it.
Yeah.
I hated Catcher in the Rye so much,
I don't.
and
Never
that's
read that one.
considered like a classic.
I have no love for it, but I don't know if I hate it. But I have
just
no
picturing
love
the-
for it.
The poor
I had to
retail
write
workers in this bookstore, like, oh my god, fuck, we always get the weird ones.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
will never hate a piece of fiction as much as I hate the yellow fucking wallpaper.
Good.
I
Good
never
to
read
know.
that.
It's
Um.
ugh.
Yeah.
I
Before we-
heard the movie's really good.
So how about
Probably
some pork
get back on
chops?
track.
Yeah, right. There's definitely an NPC retailer that is sitting there with like this practiced forced smile, and the
Yeah.
smile is starting to crack a little bit. You definitely get the feeling that you should move on. So with everything happening at the mall, essentially, you're able to get everything that you need at reasonable prices, and get back to the ship. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that you want to have happen here? And then B, is there what do you want to have happen during our time skip?
I do have one thing I would like to do at the station.
Yeah.
I would like to get into contact with someone of a less reputable nature through my influential with criminals,
Okay.
and get any dirt I can on Lev.
Interesting. Okay.
Because
You haven't even met me yet.
No, but Sparky doesn't necessarily trust someone who just randomly appears on the ship. We've been down this road before. So Sparky's definitely on like 3 back feet about this.
Yeah, let's do a speech roll as you
Okay.
speak to different contacts and try to go down the grapevine.
Am I able to add my influential criminals bonus to that?
Absolutely.
Which I believe is a +3 question mark?
I can check real
I think
quick.
it's 3 or 5, I can't remember.
Influential alignment. Gain a +2 to present skill rolls when
+2?
dealing with
Oh.
others with your alignment. Yeah.
Sorry, presence and
So a +2 to present skill rolls
presence skill
when dealing
stuff,
with others
okay.
with your alignment. Speech is cleverness, but in this case you can apply it because it's
Okay.
definitely applicable in this situation.
So 24 then.
24. So Hannah, does Lev have any dirt to be found?
You don't have to like if you can just say yes or no. You don't have to.
It doesn't
ask
have to be
anything concrete
specific.
yet. Yeah. Do you have a less than clean back record?
There's nothing special that comes up.
Okay.
Which is to say that I don't have any crazy stuff planned for my backstory.
Okay. So yeah, with a 24, you find some basic information, but yeah, there's not a lot there.
Like I've been out on the rim for a while, I think.
Mm-hmm. So kind of just the general like, oh yeah, like nothing serious.
Clearly
or
worked with
salacious.
mercenaries.
Yeah.
They've bounced around a lot.
Okay.
Most of what you find is like criminal activity of associates of Lev, but nothing that they've actually done.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it yeah, you're right. I can relax. Paranoia first, manners second.
Yep.
Maybe manners third even. There's 2 types of paranoia. I think they're skeptical, but it does at least it kind of like gives them the benefit of the doubt for now, and it gives them just something in the background to kind of mull over. Other than that, they would like to pick up some more just like scrap parts and like electronic bits because they would like to make some more noisemakers since we used all of those and we still have the noise canceling inserts.
Mhm.
And a few other things that I haven't really thought of yet. Just kind of general purpose like odds and ends, bits and bobs to hack something together.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
actually reminds me that Lev will want to pick up just like basic prosthetic repair tools.
Okay, yeah, you can absolutely do that. You're gonna have like a solid month or 2 between now and where we're skipping to. So anything that you want to buy, within reason, like if you're trying to buy a moon or something like that, then we'll have to talk about that. But most things that you want to buy, you should have money and time for. Anything that you want to build within reason, you should be able to build. So like you don't have to decide right now. You can think about that over the next week. But yeah, this will be opportunity for that.
I would also like to meet Annie and Sparky before we time skip.
Okay.
Let's be real, the preacher would have bought all the moons.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely going to be like an Ambrose corp at the end of this.
Oh, no, he doesn't do corporation crap. No, he's not about that. But he would buy crap just to further his cult.
That tracks.
Yeah. No
Can you
corporations.
even claim
He's
you're a cool
against that.
cult if you don't own a moon?
Exactly. Like, you're not even in a cult or running a cult. Like, he's not in a cult. He's running it. Let's be real. But, yeah. I'm
yeah,
sure
once,
he owns.
once Sparky's got all that stuff, they'll head back to the ship. Just for
Okay. Then I think before we go on break, let's do. We'll go around and see what each person's doing during the time skip. So who would like to go first? Who's got an idea already, ready to go? All right, go ahead, Jay.
Sparky is going to, like we were talking about before the show, they're going to go around and just try to start making contacts, kind of filling out their who's who of like criminal and not so criminal and bureaucratic who's who, just a little like pocketbook of people to be able to tap when they need to, or to just have names to drop in certain situations. Like, oh yes, I know Martin Storgensen of Jorb Corp, like that kind of thing.
Okay. Let me do, or let's do 4 speech rolls.
Oh goodness.
Sort of to get a good idea of like the range of rolls, really.
I'm really hating that I'm rolling so low because I have an 18 to this.
Oh my goodness.
Really?
1,
Roll
2,
20?
3.
Are we-
Oh my
really?
god.
Sweetheart.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine. It's trauma.
Let's call it around a level, like a 30 level
Like total,
average
yeah,
roll, because
okay with
that's your
that.
actual average.
That's miserable.
We're just gonna bump it up a little bit. So yeah, you get a reasonable number of contacts and things like that. Where's my DC chart?
I think a 30 is like experience, but not an expert.
Yeah, challenging. Only trained should attempt this type of task. Typically take years of study and or practice to accomplish, which, yeah, that sounds about right. So, for Sparky, because you've had some time to practice that. So yeah, you've got a modest collection of contacts and leads and things like that you can lean on. Cool. What about Annie? What's Annie doing during this time skip of a month or two?
I'd say she's probably keeping in regular contact with Alice, seeing as he's going to be sending through information and stuff like that near the end anyway.
So you'll know the highlights of basically everything that happened in the Animus Violentis campaign.
Okay. Yeah, she'll just spend a good portion of time doing that, filling the crew in on the details as well. And I would say she's probably keeping an eye on any media output, any little details that she can find through her own contacts, anything of note that pops out that she can kind of pass along so that they're prepared as it's coming. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else really of huge note that she would be doing.
All right. How about Billy?
Billy is actually going to be working with Lev some and basically getting as many full scans of herself, so we at least kind of know a little bit with what we're going to be dealing with brains and jars. And that's when Lev is going to discover that Billy's had about like 80% of her body replaced. And there's a very good chance none of this was consensual. And she's very reluctant to take limbs off, but she can do it.
Feels
I'm not
understandable.
going to make you take limbs off.
She's like, thank you, because the captain asked me to disarm when I first came on the ship, and I was really worried for a while.
It's a common turn of phrase. Like,
yes, but
disarm is in arms like weapons.
Yes, but my arms are the only real weapon I had at the time.
You don't have to take off your arms.
Thanks. Also, my eye's been getting really itchy, and I think I may have not put one of the wires back in properly. Can you help me with that?
Is it wired like a real human eye?
I don't know what a real human eye is supposed to look like.
We got tech people on here, right?
Pardon?
We got tech people on this ship, right?
Yes. Captain and Annie were both helpful last time.
Okay, well,
yeah.
They could, maybe one of them can be here when we do that, so that, because if it's like a human eye, I got you. If it's not,
Billy basically works with Lev to basically kind of get an idea of the possibility of how we can take out an army of brains and jars.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get all that done, no problem. Fix up anything that Billy needs tuned up. And you get a pretty good idea of how Billy's cybernetics and everything work. There is, I'll tell you, like, out of character, meta knowledge that your characters will probably figure out over the course of the couple months and getting the information from Alice. The way that Billy's put together is not similar to the way that these androids with human brains operate. So it doesn't give you a ton of insight there, but it does give you some really fascinating information on how Pillar technology works, because Billy was put together by Pillar Pharmaceuticals. So there's some very useful information there, just not specifically for what you were looking for in this moment.
you think we can break some patents?
Oh, absolutely. Excuse me. Also, like, none of this technology should really exist or be applied to a single person. And there's no, like...
Billy's a walking killing machine if she ever put her mind to it.
Yeah. And there's no Pillar logos on most things, so it's not enough evidence to be like, look, Pillar did this. But, like, you can...
Oh, and the other thing she'd be working on / getting help with making is a diagnostic station for herself that's not connected to any sort of outside communication.
Yeah, you can easily do that. Resident expert on things like that, where it involves hardware, is Daisy. So does Billy talk to Daisy about that?
She goes to Annie for that. She goes to Annie for the help. She's not going anywhere near Daisy. In fact, that's probably something that gets noticed, is that Billy avoids the fuck out of Daisy.
I have like an image in my head of Daisy being in the med bay for whatever reason and Billy coming in to talk to Levin and just turning around and leaving.
So that actually raises an interesting point. So, Annie, if Billy comes to you asking about this, like, Annie would know, like, that type of hardware is definitely, like, in Daisy's wheelhouse versus, like, your more software networking based stuff. Would Annie suggest that? And if so, like, how does that go?
Yeah, I mean, Annie would definitely make the suggestion. She explains to Billy that her forte kind of lies in the network side of things, software, hacking into that sort of thing. Annie does have experience with sort of the mechanical side of stuff, not a lot. So it's not like she's opening up a book for dummies and reading paragraph by paragraph.
Oh, for sure.
But at the same time, it's like, if you want somebody who like does this frequently and knows their shit, then Daisy is what you're gonna want.
Anyone other than Daisy? that could do this?
Listen, don't tell Daisy this because the kid's gonna let it go to her head, but in terms of this type of thing, she's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah, but what if she decides she really doesn't like me and just decides to do something? Because from how I hear it, she gets pretty extreme when she decides she doesn't like somebody.
Well, you got me there.
Like, erasing all of you in to hope that you killed each other?
Listen, I'm going to be the last person in the universe to defend the shit that Daisy did. If I did decide that I wanted to play devil's advocate, which I don't, I might say in that situation, as devil's advocate, that the situation was different, and perhaps one could be led to understand where that anger came from. So while I'm not playing devil's advocate and I don't forgive what she did, perhaps maybe it's a little different. In a case like that, where there was murder involved, shit happens. What I'm trying to say is Daisy's not going to do anything to you if you need help. She's not going to turn around and say, Jesus, I hate that, Billy. Let's, fuck up all her mods. She's not going to do that. I promise you that. And if it makes you feel better, I'll go with you. I'll be there in the same space if that,
if it's
helps.
Cool, I'm not sure I'm really that comfortable being alone around her.
Yeah, I mean, I can go with you. That's no problem.
Thanks.
And he just gives Billy a couple thumbs up.
Also, Billy is dressed much more colorfully to the point where sometimes it's kind of painful to look at some of her outfits because there are so many patterns and colors going on. There are like
Annie started pulling out different things in black, and Billy was like, "Oh no, I like this better." Pulls out like the most obnoxious color, and Annie's just like, "Well, I can't tell you no because you're going to be wearing it," so she just has to go along with it.
But it's all like the sleek lines like Annie's got for the outfits with like the paneling and stuff. It just happens to be very, very bright.
I love that so much. All right. I was very curious to see if Annie was gonna throw Daisy under the bus or defend her. That was really fun.
Annie's like, listen, she's a shithead, but we're past it, and she's good at what she does.
Daisy is happy to build something like that. It's like I get to work on this cool project. This is awesome. And between Annie and Daisy, Daisy throws the hardware together, gets you the list of parts and everything, and is able to physically build it. And then Annie's skills is able to make sure it's completely cut off and it's not hackable and all that stuff, and gets your software all sorted. So yeah, you have a full diagnostic thing that's the digital equivalent of a Faraday cage around it. Brings us to Lev. What do you do during that month to 2 month period?
Checkups with the crew, because I'm a doctor. I'm their doctor now, I guess. For anyone who wants to, when Lev has met everyone and is feeling like, I guess I'm staying with you and I'm a medic, so if anyone wants a checkup, I can do that. And then also, I guess, just not necessarily gutting, but definitely retrofitting the med bay to be more of their style.
Okay. Yeah, that's very doable. If you want, over the next week before our next session, feel free to just design a med bay You can draw it out if you want to, or just like, a quick description of what it looks like. But feel free to do that, and then that's what you'll have. If you have any questions on available technology, just let me know. And then I assume like you actually get to meet the rest of the crew and have interactions.
I would love that.
Um,
I'm gonna be hanging out with these people.
yeah, that absolutely can happen. And we can do that off screen, and then like if you want to have some like in-game interactions, we can do flashbacks for those a little bit later. And then
We can talk about it on break.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. And then for Captain, what do you do over that month to 2-month period?
Captain is going to try to contact Vacation Grandpa and be like, what the ever-loving heck is going on?
You get a couple messages back. They're pretty cryptic and deflective, like that one was where it's like, hey, maybe don't be in this place right now.
Right.
And as the month goes on, it gets progressively more sporadic and less frequent. By the point of where we come back in, you've heard from him recently, so he's like presumably still alive, but contact is very sparse.
I hate that. And also Captain has just been tending to her plants and trying to be, what she can be to the crewmates.
Awesome. The rest of the ship, Rip has been relatively helpful.
What an asshole.
He's just picked up some chores around the ship that maybe were not being done all the time.
Billy has like absolutely no problems hanging out with him. Actually, kind of find him interesting. Will listen to his stories.
Okay,
I'm sure he's welcome in the med bay.
that's really funny.
Captain doesn't really care about him either way. Yet, kitten right now, really okay. But yeah, Captain is just like, okay, you're here. Like,
Okay. Yeah, Rip probably enjoys hanging out with Billy as much as he enjoys anybody's company, I guess. Kind of a loner most of the time. Probably makes some comments that are like not super tactful and might be a little hurtful, but there's no like intentional insults in there. And then
Like Billy actually is pretty hard to insult. It's just more of a time she doesn't always get the things. And she appreciates it when it's explained to her, even if it's kind of blunt.
Okay. Yeah, Rip will probably do a lot of that. We'll have Billy probably caught up on a lot of the slightly ruder side of slang terms and expressions.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to give me some of these because I'm going to have her casually drop them because now she knows how to use them.
I will have to come up with a list before next episode. But yeah, that definitely happens. He probably gets along okay with Lev. Definitely you get the I don't like... It's not that I don't like people that are doctors, I just don't like doctors sort of speech from Rip. So like anytime that you're not doing anything medical, he's cool, but as soon as you want to do an exam or something like that, he's an honorary cuss.
Lev treats him like a child when he does that.
That's pretty much what he acts like
tongue
too.
Out.
Well, if you're gonna act like a kid, I'm gonna treat you like a kid.
And he probably does the whole like I could hurt you kind of thing, but then
She offer him a lollipop at the end.
and he does a little like I don't need a lollipop, but since you're handing it to me, make sure it's the red one.
I like cherry flavor.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of that, but generally good-natured. And Seth has installed just ridiculous amounts of security systems. There are cameras where there definitely does not need to be cameras, like not in like bathrooms or anything like that, but it's just like there's redundant cameras all over the ship.
Did he get the captain's consent before doing that?
No, he just started doing it.
Lovely.
Basically, he's like upgraded the security on the ship and then came to the captain and is like, all right, so here's how you use all the new security measures I just installed.
Captain just looks at it and says, thanks, I hate it.
Oh god, I can imagine his captain in the bridge and she's like, I can see more of the ship every hour.
Right? Like, why am I seeing more? Please stop.
Why is there a camera in the garbage disposal?
Like, you realize I'm hooked up to the ship, essentially. Like, I can see what you're installing. This is getting upsetting.
Is it sad that a camera in the garbage disposal
sorry,
makes
I'm just
perfect sense to me?
It come online when it's like slightly angled as he's putting it up, and she's just getting a view of eyes.
Captain just occasionally gets vertigo during this whole installation process.
Right.
More eyes than biblical angels, Kenora says.
Please stop.
So that's what Seth does. Daisy has her own little projects that she works on. Mostly keeps to herself, as she tends to do. Finds all of the new little hiding places and like tunnels and stuff that she can get to, since the ship doesn't have large ventilation shafts that she can crawl through now. So probably like figures out a way to have a series of tunnels under the cargo bay floor or something like that.
She probably also figures out her dad's trick of living in the walls.
Oh, for sure. She probably has like, whereas Seattle had like porn stashes everywhere, she's probably got like stashes of like Twinkies and snacks and random
that
projects.
Other stashes in there was snacks.
Yeah.
Exactly what her dad does.
Pretty much, yeah. Like her own flavor of it, but it's pretty dang close. I presume you get a shuttle during that time. Since I think you
Cool,
never did get one.
Binding us.
Yeah. And
Lily requests to go and drive in the shuttle.
okay, yeah, that can absolutely happen. And then for Liam seems a little listless during the period, and also kind of seems to keep to himself quite a bit. And I think that catches all of the crew members up. So that's a good spot to take a break. We're going to take a break for 15 minutes to grab snacks, drinks, stretch our legs. Highly suggest everyone do the same. Then when we come back, we will fast forward to where we ended off this last season with Animus Violentis, and get moving forward again. So we'll be right back. Hey, we're back. So, as was mentioned, we're doing a time skip now. So, things happen. For anybody who's not watched the events of Animus Violentis or participated in them, the whole android with human brains thing progresses in a way where the public doesn't know about it. They just know that there's these really cool new high-tech androids that are for combat. And they are participating in the battle between SME and Vizco, the two corporations that are starting to have little skirmishes here and there as escalations are, or as tensions are escalating. Said that backwards. Anyways, there's a whole program where it's like you can sponsor an android soldier. It's like a whole NFT thing. It's just god awful. And eventually, news is released that Vizco was actually working with underworld elements to get these. And there's this evidence that they use human brains in these androids, and it raises up a whole bunch of ethical and moral questions. It's a very polarizing issue. So what you end up with is a lot of people in the galaxy are sort of forming their own camps on these issues. And the corporations are not immune to that. So when we sort of jump back in, Vizco has teamed up with Quince, which is the big technology company. If you were to do a modern analogy, like imagine if like Windows and Apple like formed one super mega corporation. Windows, Apple, and Google is basically what this is. So they've teamed up, and Pillar has sided with SME, with Pezos taking a neutral position, as well as the other one, Philcor. So they've both taken a neutral position, whereas SME and Pillar are on one side, and Quince and Vizco are on the other. And so what's happened is essentially a galactic scale world war that you now find yourselves kind of in the middle of. Just about everywhere is sort of a war zone, though like fighting isn't happening everywhere all the time. There's definitely different areas that are being fought over, but at any given place in the galaxy, you could run into a firefight at the moment. So that's sort of where you find yourselves in the galaxy. The GPF has essentially taken a neutral stance as well. So they've kind of become the quote-unquote peacekeeping force for Philcor and Pezos. So they're kind of protecting their assets, which is mostly property and things like that. But they're not really taking sides in the war itself. There was also a big broadcast that happened from some sort of a redneck sounding tiny robot who refers to himself as New Skeeter, that sort of announced to everyone what was going on. So that happened. And Annie has kept you apprised of like the inner workings behind all of this. So now that you find yourself in this sort of new setting from what it's been before, what do you want to do? What's your first order of business now that like it's officially a war? It's not just a encounter or skirmish.
Also, may I say how hypocritical it is of Pillar, who did what they did to Billy to be opposing Vizco in this?
Well, it's because they're not the ones controlling it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I bet you they're trying to take the moral high ground in
Oh, their PR
the
department
media.
absolutely is.
Their PR department is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
They tried to murder a
Yeah.
bunch of people.
Every single one of the 6 ruling corporations are about as evil of a corporation as you could possibly get, but they are definitely taking the moral high ground along with SME, since Vizco is the aggressor in this scenario.
I want everyone to know that they shot first, okay?
Basically.
That means it's okay to nuke their moon.
Yeah, pretty much.
God, are we... So I guess the first question is the area we're in immediate? Like, are we in a war zone at the moment?
It's up to you. You can end up, you can throw a dart at the map and choose where you're going to start out. And you can choose whether or not you're in a fighting zone or not.
Just turn left and the whole world changes. Oh. I'm gonna vote, like, not Warzone, because we don't really know what we're doing. But
I tell you what.
We get into a war zone and Lev's like, this is familiar to me.
I mean, honestly, if we're being real, we could like talk our way out of a war zone.
Probably.
we already did once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuel at Matt's is newly reopened after sustaining damage a couple months ago.
Good.
So you could go there if
well,
you want
bless
to.
their hearts, I'm glad they're still in business.
They are. So that's a suggestion for a place to start if you're looking for like a neutral ground to kind of get your feet wet.
Not a bad idea.
I'd be fine with that.
See what old Matt's up to.
I mean, I guess I'm captain, so like,
Yeah.
The other, like another
I hate
option.
making decisions. I don't want to make decisions for other people. It's things. It's the trauma.
Another option
we-
is Earth. Earth is also a pretty new. Nobody really wants it.
Yeah.
To be fair, we've
be
been
fair.
there and we see why
Yeah.
no one wants it.
They can keep it.
Yeah, they can keep it, and they're polite mafia. Yeah, let's go to Fuel at Matt's.
Okay.
Let's see what Matt's up to. How he's doing.
You are absolutely able to do so. So we'll just say that's where you've ended up during all of this. You've managed to avoid most of the crossfires over the last couple months as things have escalated. But now there's all-out war, and you've decided to make a stop here to, process the fact that war were declared and get a plan. So you can see that a large chunk of the bottom ring on the station is missing. Mostly it was where it was mostly storage, so it wasn't too bad. But it's all been patched up and you're able to land. Do you dock the ship or do you take the shuttle in?
Dock the ship.
Okay. They work on fueling you up. Where on the station would you like to go, or do you just chill out in the ship? What are you doing?
I personally would like to speak to Matt.
Okay. You can do that. What about everybody else?
I mean, I assume they know where we are.
Yeah,
I think-
they know that you're here.
I think Sparky
Okay.
will stay on the ship for now. We can also, if we want to do it this session, or we can bump it to next session, the talk between Rip and Sparky. I don't think it'll be very long.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Okay, that's a couple of good things to start with. Let's do the talk between Sparky and Rip, actually, so before it gets too much later in the timeline here. So how does...
I don't remember what the talk was supposed to be. My
I thought
brain was just like,
that,
wait, talking.
I thought Rip was going to tell you more about your situation and what extra he knows about you.
Oh, right, like about the other like me's running around and all that shit. Okay, yeah, like coming clean.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good because I don't know what I was gonna say. So.
So yeah, Rip essentially once I think it was going to be in Sparky's room.
Yeah.
Once Rip's there, just sort of looks at you uncomfortably and says, "All right, well, I don't really know what all you know, so why don't you
just spill, Rip? Why don't we just rehash everything, because I don't have all my old memories and the now things I've learned that might be wrong, and frankly I'd rather hear it from the horse's ass."
He sort of just chuckles at the insult and shrugs it off.
Just keep kicking him down the road.
Like, right, well, let's see. Yeah, you are clone. There's not as many of you running around as you might think. You were from a small batch of clones, so I don't know how many are still alive, but there's more than one or two people out there with your face.
Here's the big question for you, Rip. If there's only a couple more running around, how many died?
Like, starts counting on his fingers. He's a fucking guy. Probably anywhere from 8 to 18.
And that's a small batch.
It's a big galaxy.
Just keep going. I'm fine.
Well, most of them were trained as operatives, given, memories of parents or family members that raised them that were not actually real. And
was it always you?
Was what always me?
Was it always you that took care of them?
Oh, I wouldn't say I took care of them, but I did train some of them, you included.
Oh, Rip. I hope you never have kids, you sick son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea if I did. Anyways, some of them were trained as assassins, like you were. Some of them, various other jobs, whatever the cartel needed. I wasn't part of the whole cloning program. I just trained some of them, but that was my involvement with it. What else did you want to know?
Are they still doing it?
Last I checked, they were doing this whole brains and robots thing. I think that's the program that replaced it.
What are you gonna do once this is all done, Rip? You gonna keep doing merc work? You gonna go settle down on a ranch and raise cattle or whatever the fuck you want to do? What's the plan? What's your play? You think you just get to walk away after all this?
Well, can't go back to the cartel and wouldn't even want to. That's kind of the whole point. They They pushed the line further out than I was willing to go. So
Must have been beyond the fucking horizon for someone like you.
he just sort of shrugs. It's like, we all have different things that put us in different positions. Sometimes we make good choices, sometimes we make bad choices. Sometimes we don't get a choice. Like, I'm not gonna excuse anything that I've done, but just saying, we're not all, nobody on this boat's innocent. Well, maybe that mechanic of yours.
You didn't answer my question, Rip. What's your plan after this? After we deal with all this crap that you helped set in motion?
I haven't given it a whole lot of thought. Wasn't too confident that we were going to survive getting that information out, but looks like somebody, gave that a push. I'm still breathing. Had a sort of a dream of having my own ranch and raising something, but that always seemed like a fantasy, really. I figured I'd just keep going until there's a bullet out there with my name on it that finds me.
Rip, I don't want anyone else on the ship to know I told you this, but I hope you get to live a long, lonely fucking life on that ranch when we're done all this. I don't want to chase you anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. But I don't want you dead.
Sort of stands there, silent for a moment, before he kind of makes a huh sound. Like I've ever heard that one before.
Yeah, well, someone had to break the fucking mold, didn't they? Get out. Just get out.
And he has like a moment of feeling like he should say something. And like this sort of little look of compassion on his face. But then he sort of sighs and turns around and walks out.
Cool. That's the only time I'm going to cry this season.
That was really good. Bravo.
Oh, Sparky, I'm so sick of your shit.
Oh, goodness. All right. So that also happens before the proverbial shit hits the fan in the galaxy. So Captain, you wanted to talk to Matt. And yeah, if you head in, he's in his office, the the big fancy office that he put together or took over from one of the corporate bigwigs that used to own the station. Looks a little less fancy.
Good for him.
Yeah, it looks a little less fancy than the last time you were there. There are, it looks like murder boards sort of set up all over the place and whiteboards and things, where it's obvious like he's trying to both rebuild the station and coordinate with other people to like get people help where they need it that have been sort of caught in crossfire and or had supply chains disturbed and things like that. So he's pretty busy when you walk in.
Matt. Oh God, I have hiccups. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Matthew.
He turns around with a curious look on his face like, I don't think I've had anybody call me that since I was a kid. I can't remember what his voice was. I'm going to try to find it again as we're talking. It's like, yeah, what can how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while.
It seems something has happened at this station recently. What has happened? Parts are missing.
Yeah, the sort of the start of all that with Vizco and SME, one of their missiles kind of didn't hit its target straight out and decided that our space station was a good looking target. Blew off the whole half of our cargo storage. Thankfully, there wasn't a whole lot of people, down in that section because it's mostly just storage. But we lost a few people.
That's unfortunate. Is there any reason for Visco to target your station?
Well, not officially. I mean, I'm sure they're not thrilled about us, being an example of unions and independent stations and whatnot, but I don't think it's anything they would intentionally send a missile our way for. That seems like more cost than we're worth, really. Now, the official report said it was a stray missile. It was intended for an SME ship.
Understandable. So it is Visco in this battle, correct?
Yeah, Visco and decided they wanted what SME had, and so they did their robot troops, and then other corporations got involved, and turns out they're like human robots, cyborgs.
Matt, can I tell? Okay, sorry, out of game. Does Matt know about the cyborg?
Yeah, everybody knows about it at this point.
Okay, at this point. Matt, what do you think about the cyborgs? What is your opinion?
Well, it all seems kind of ghoulish to me. You got people, like real people that are copies, and then they're put in robots, and what do you do when you're hungry when you're a robot?
Robots do not experience hunger. I do not experience hunger.
Well, sure, but like you don't have a I'm hungry program. You've got like my battery's low program, but the brains don't know they're robots, do they?
I would imagine that they have made it so that the brain adapts to the human body. I do not think they experience hunger.
Huh. When they need their like lube changed, I wonder if it feels like they gotta pee.
I do not know, Matt.
Anyways, I think the whole thing's ghoulish. It seems just downright wrong, if you ask me.
I do believe it is wrong. It is an entire human placed in an artificial body.
Yeah.
That does not seem correct to me. I do not know if they consented to this, but it does not seem right to me.
Yeah. What brings you to the station?
Oh, just general information. Have you heard or seen anything interesting in this matter?
Well, we had a ship come through. Well, we didn't really give them permission to dock, but they were downright insistent. They came through with on one of those Quince ships with a bunch of the cyborg human bots. Yeah, cyborg human bots. That's a catchy name. Yeah, a bunch of those. Anyways, they wandered around the shops and acting like soldiers, but and that was kind of interesting. Thankfully, they all left. But not too much interesting going on here other than just trying to coordinate relief efforts for colonies and little, other stations like us and whatnot.
So there are currently Quince bots on your station?
No, they all left, as far as I know. But they came through. Quint's ship insisted they needed to refuel, and all the cyborg human bots wandered around like they was flesh and bone humans. Same body language and everything too. Was weird.
And you are against this, correct?
I'm against anything where it's you got the one person here and then someone with their same personality and brain patterns and whatever is somewhere else in the galaxy. It's just it's not even like they're twins. They're literally the same person, but they're not.
Understandable. Thank you, Matthew.
He sort of nods. It's like, I assume you here for fuel. You need anything else?
No, nothing else. Just thank you for the information.
Just nods. Yeah. Well, hopefully this thing won't last too long. And he kind of goes back to writing stuff on a whiteboard and clearly, trying to keep things organized.
She just says kind of quietly, I think it will, and accept.
Okay. How about everybody else on the ship and I guess or now on the station? Is there anything that you want to look into, or do you have reactions to what's going on?
I guess because we did get them in contact with the miners too, right, Sonia?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Sparky would be checking in on that, like just seeing kind of what the situation is with them, because we probably haven't heard from them in a while, and seeing if there's any other new groups that might need help or have information that might help us, deal with all this. Just more data about the cyborg things.
Yeah. You get an update on the mining colony. They actually have it kind of easy right now. A lot of the troops that were there trying to take their stuff back got pulled into the other fight. So they're mostly rebuilding everything at the moment, from mostly raw materials because they can't get supplies out there at the moment. They do mention that if you wanted to bring them supplies, they would really appreciate it. So there is sort of a side quest available there if you want to get supplies for them and take those over there.
Probably wouldn't hurt. We haven't seen them since like season 1.
It's true. Excuse me. And fighting on the rim is mostly light right now.
That may actually be a good place for us to kind of go to keep out of the way of the direct fight.
Okay. Is everybody else cool with that then?
Lev is new and has no objections.
I'm down.
Right. What about Annie?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Well then, let's see.
What's this? The main plot? No, thank you.
That's kind of been the trend for this game, but
We don't know how to drive straight. It's all right turns.
What's the plot? I don't understand.
right. Oh, that's gonna be fun. So I'm rolling to see which region that you'll need to get the supplies from. With 1 being the Sol System, 2 being Alpha Centauri, and so on and so forth. So the supplies they need are at Alpha Centauri. Guess where a lot of the heavy fighting is.
Oh yeah.
You thought
yeah, but
you
it's
thought
out
you
in
could
the
avoid plot.
You-
No avoid plot.
The dice say no.
I hate this Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah. So, yeah, they need, what do they need out there on the rim?
Medical supplies.
Actually, no, not in this case.
Okay.
There's not really much in the way of trees on,
Probably
Mm.
building supplies and oxygen generators then.
yep,
And
they need,
possibly terraform or astro or terraforming sort of things.
Probably chemicals.
yeah, probably some terraforming stuff. Mostly they need lumber, to build structures and things.
It is wild to me that we still use lumber this far in the future.
Yeah.
There's not like some synthetic fungi or wood or whatever.
It's, with the ability to terraform planets, they can basically just make
I
lumber
guess.
yards wherever they want. So it's
Yeah.
actually a
Just
relatively,
drop seeds from orbit.
yeah.
Huh.
So it's a relatively cheap and efficient building material that they can harvest pretty easily now.
That is a good point.
There definitely are other alternatives, but
Yeah.
it's
It's just easier.
yeah. Basically, it's like not destroying it's destroying the environment, but it's an environment that was man-made to begin with. So it's interesting.
The jury's out.
Yeah. And they can just remake the environment. So, anyways, yeah, they need you to go pick up a ship full of lumber and some extra terraforming equipment and just hardware stuff, basically. They need you to go pick up a Home Depot and bring it over. And
Now we
yeah,
have a bigger ship.
you
Yeah,
do.
we can actually do it.
Fetch quest in the war zone.
That's what we're about, right?
Yeah. Okay.
We've upgraded from heists to fetch quests, which are just heists with morals.
Oh God.
Yeah. Kinda.
Huh.
Let's see. So we're gonna go with we're gonna call this planet Topsfo C, which is gonna be in the same system as Topsfo A, which was where you did a heist once.
Yeah, I was gonna say that name sounded familiar. What was
Yep.
the heist?
I believe it was the very first one, because I remember Topsfo is the anagram for that one planet from season 1, because I
That's
couldn't remember the
right.
actual name of it.
That's right. Yeah, buddy.
Oh my God, what did we even do? We were such babies.
It wasn't the skin lamp, it was whatever you stole before that. I think it was gold bars.
It
was like
wasn't
just-
just
just a-
straight up gold.
Just a ton of gold.
Oh my God. We used to be good.
If I remember correctly, it took us like 4 trips back and forth into that vault to get all the gold out. And that was when Sparky and Seattle blew themselves up.
Yep.
Oh right.
There's also something to do with like,
That they had no fucking idea there was a heist going on.
yep.
All right.
So yeah, that's
Hopefully no one recognizes us.
well, you'd be going to a different planet in the same system, so you should be okay. There is a lot of fighting happening in that particular planetary system, mostly over the wealthy that are living on the resort planet, or the like private estate planet. So, how would you like to go about this? What would you like to do to prepare for this trip?
You'd think after 5 seasons we'd be good at this. We'd have like some inkling of an idea.
You would think
That's
that,
literally what's
yeah.
going through Rip's head right now.
Well, he can just like
You can
I'm
get
sorry, I'm
off
just
whenever you want,
imagining
Rip.
Rip watching is like it's like some of them are just like standing around. He's like, "You're not gonna plan." But we're
Nah.
not gonna plan.
Not that kind of crew.
How have you gone this far with no plan?
We don't know.
Good question.
Honestly, Billy's gonna be like looking to find ways to make our cargo bay a little bit faster to load up and unload, given the last couple of times we've had to rapidly unload things.
That's fair.
Catherine's
she's
gonna make
kind of
sure all the
having a system put into the floor on rails.
Yeah, I was thinking like a hydraulic, like.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
have
you
like
could
the
do.
rails pop up so everything can just slide, and when they're locked into place, it locks all the cargo into place.
You could even just lock in like those extendable rollers they'll do when they're unloading a truck. You could just like build those into the floor.
Yeah, like that. Can Billy do that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably like brackets or like spaces for that. So it's not like
mod slots.
Yeah, mod slots is a great way to put it. So it'd be relatively easy to install something like that and get it in there.
What do I roll for that?
Let's do engineering mechanical, because it's basically just putting together
25.
Loading equipment. Yeah. 25 is decent. Probably takes you a little while. Maybe
He's not familiar with non-mining brand tools.
Yeah, it's probably like one of those things where you're like, yeah, this is a project I could easily do, and you kind of get into the middle of it, and you're like, oh, this is a bigger project than I thought. So it takes you a little longer, but you get it done without much trouble.
Oh, right. I have to make sure there's no like holes in the ship.
Yeah.
Atmosphere, right.
There's probably like a step in the middle of the process. It's like, once you're in dry dock, then do step whatever, and you're like, oh, right.
In that case, she basically like tells everybody, nobody come into the cargo bay for the next couple of hours. It's going to have no atmosphere.
Yeah. Perfect.
Goes to get into a suit and just keeps working.
So yeah, you get like an easy load on, load off sort of system that sort of an automatic
also
loader.
She can like also it's going to have a backup manual switch so that she can basically pull and have everything eject. Because she does not want to have to drop another cheese cooler because she's pretty sure they only had the one.
Okay, so like it just automatically detaches all the securing clamps so that it can just roll right out.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically the dump and run.
So instead of pick me up in the lobby, it's now launch shit out of the cargo bay.
Boy, the banks are gonna get a new upgrade soon.
God. Well, I mean, the banks are already like Fort Knox right now because there's, all of the Philcore are just like withdrawn in to protect the banks because there's a war going on. Ugh. Anyways, let's do another engineering mechanical roll just to, because it'll be like a modification, so just to tweak it. Oh no! You do have an advantage if you'd like to use it.
No, I'm gonna let her critical fail this.
Okay.
She has to like work. She's basically, I'm letting her critical fail this because honestly, again, this is not her familiar set of tools.
Oh
and
no!
She's trying to make a good impression, but sometimes you need to fuck up to make a good impression.
Oh, that's gonna happen. So I rolled a d20 to see how bad it is. The way I do it is if it's a 1, it's like super duper bad. If I roll a 20, it's like barely a nat 1. Is the effect. I rolled a 1. It's bad.
Right. So, I am willing to have Billy put a rod through a limb and possibly have to contact somebody because now she's got a hole in her suit too.
Oh no, it's way worse than that.
Oh boy. Okay.
It just doesn't. It seems fine. You're pretty sure you installed it correctly.
Okay. Cool. She's gonna test it.
It works.
No.
It seems to work okay right now.
Perfect. Wonderful. She's feeling confident and satisfied.
Fantastic.
Love that, Raven.
I'm giving us something interesting for later.
I hate it.
I hate it because Billy's gonna feel so goddamn bad.
Yeah. I mean,
Listen, we
it's
all have one
fine.
catastrophic fuck up on the ship. It's like a rite of passage.
It really is. Cool. Everybody's like, you've got enough spacesuits for everyone to have one at the same time, right? Okay, cool. You just
Probably.
no reason, just asking. Anyways, so that's cool. What's
Lev came with a spacesuit.
That's true.
Captain doesn't breathe.
Yeah, and
Yeah, there you go.
and
I
then
was
there
gonna say-
Billy's makeshift suit that she brought onto the ship too.
Oh yeah.
We actually have extra suits right now.
What were you gonna say, Hannah?
I was gonna say if we I feel like Lev might have some experience navigating active war zones, and so is willing to lend their knowledge if we need to be moving around in space like that.
Okay. Let me get an education roll for Lev.
Okay. Which there's my education.
Oh no.
I actually have the asset learned.
Oh nice. So you can re-roll that because it's a cleverness.
Yep, I'm just gonna re-roll that. That's a
Much-
lot. That's better.
Much better.
It's not much better, honestly, but
Score-wise, no, but a 25 is
not
way better
being
than
a
a nat
critical
1.
fail. Yes.
Yeah. So with a 25, you know that in war zones, the whoever is the aggressor usually will have a way to secure supply lines to their location, and they're generally kept away from the fighting and protected, and for the most part will leave civilian ships alone as long as there's no reason to suspect that they are, you know, a covert enemy ship that's somehow gotten behind their lines. So that might be something that you could use to navigate the situation.
We'll relay this information to Captain.
I'm sorry, what?
So
Uh,
ahead.
basically, with the idea of trying to move through an active war zone, frequently whoever's got a foothold in the area is going to have a supply line type situation where they're a bit out of the fighting. It's going to be protected, but they usually don't mess around with civilian ships as long as we don't do anything suspicious. That might be a way to get past all the active war.
Understandable. Do you know which planets we can go to?
Not in this zone. I haven't been here possibly ever.
Understand.
It's more of a general knowledge thing than a specific. An idea.
Ideas are a concept to me.
It's like I don't know exactly, but this is usually a thing. So if we can find that,
Do you know where we can find that?
no, but y'all got hackers, right?
We have one very skilled hacker, yes.
I'm not even sure who's honestly the entrenched party here.
You've been
I
on
just
the
wanted
ship
to I just
a
wanted to help.
month. Have you not spoken to anyone on the ship?
That's not what
In
I
a
meant.
month?
I meant in the area, like not the ship area, the greater space area.
I'm going to go speak to Annie.
Okay.
All right.
Lev's just kind of gonna go mope in the med bay now.
All right. So, Captain's wanting to talk to Annie about hacking something. What is it?
I don't know. What am I hacking? Like,
So I believe the general idea was to find out who is like who of the corps are most entrenched here, and then find out if we can figure out where they've put their supply lines, because that's going to have less active fighting.
Gotcha.
Those areas.
So
gotcha.
which corporation group is entrenched in the area versus which ones they're invading?
And then, if we can, where are where are they not going to be? Probably.
And who can we pretend to be working for to steal their supplies?
Not yet. Not yet. But we'll get there.
Lev does not do espionage, so
Don't worry, that's what
It's okay. We do.
I'm
We'll
a
figure it
straight
out.
shooter.
you probably won't fit in with everyone.
Yeah, so Captain asks Annie, who are the main holders of this area?
Would that be information that Alice would have sent to her?
Not like for specific systems, no.
Okay.
But you could basically surf articles and news and things like that on like what's going on in the galaxy, without even having to roll. That you know that SME and Pillar are the ones who currently hold the Topso planetary system,
Okay.
and Quince and Vizco are the invading force there, and that like there's a lot of battles that are happening in orbit around Topspo A and just in the general vicinity. So you know that just from watching the news, basically.
Okay. Yeah, and he passes that along to Captain. I'm not going to repeat it, but there you go, Cap.
And then if you want to try to find out like specific information, like where the supply lines are and things like that, you'll need to hack military computers. So you can try, but it will be at disadvantage because it is ridiculously heavily secured.
Okay. Would that be something that I could apply my information broker to? Because it's like stuff that she would be doing. Like that's what she typically does for money, is like specifically hacking into things. So she would know more so of like what to avoid and what tells to look for when trying to hack into things.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay, cool. Sorry, what skill to roll?
So that's tech.
Tech engineering, okay. Okay, so it's a 42 plus 11, so it's a 53. Oh,
Nice.
I disadvantage.
Yeah.
Please don't give me anything lower than rolling a 16. Let me see. Oh, there you go. A crit
No.
fail. I love that for me. Why is roll 20 absolutely rolling
How many-
garbage today?
How many crit fails have we had today? 3 at least.
I think it's been like 4.
It's
It's just-
actually 4, yeah, because Captain Crypt failed
Why
earlier.
I'm
You-
not using that advantage yet until it's
Yeah.
when the
You
bad thing happens later.
speaking
I
of,
have an
you
advantage?
do have an advantage if you would like to use it to.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Okay.
'Cause I don't want the military to know that I'm like
I mean,
You've had enough fails. with that
military
kind of
level.
hacking.
Yeah,
it would just be a very spicy start to the war for you.
spicy. Yeah, that's for sure.
Let's go ahead and roll overtime. There you go.
Oh my god! Thank goodness, it's a 51.
A 51.
Not too bad at a disadvantage.
That's really good. Yeah. So that puts you at incredible. So, which is task that would usually require the person to be an authority in the field or have professional athlete status with the ability. So, definitely high level stuff. So, Yeah, you are not able to find out a ton of specifics. Like most of the things that you're pulling up have like big parts of the text blacked out, a lot of redacted information. But
The supply line is in redacted.
yeah. So you're not 100% positive that you wouldn't pass through some fighting, but you've got a general idea of where that supply line is. So you could avoid most of the fighting with the information that you have.
Okay. Yeah, Annie's gonna just compile everything together so that's nice and neat for Captain, and send that out to her
Okay.
so she can map the route that we need to go.
All right. Is there anything anybody else would like to do before that sort of quest starts, which will be next session?
Can I just make some rolls to make the noisemakers with Daisy, maybe?
Yeah, you can just make those because you've got
Okay.
enough time that basically you kind of can't fail that.
Fair. Okay. Oh God, I just realized. Billy and to a galaxy far away extent, Rip don't have the thumb activated comms.
That is true. They do
Yeah.
not.
So I think Sparky would work on getting one from Billy.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing else there, then
We all already have one. It's just not tuned to the same frequency.
Oh, I guess
yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
that's fair. All right. That sounds like a good place to wrap up. So next session we'll start the supply run and see how we do. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll find out what happens with the quick loader system. That'll be a blast. Yeah, so we'll do our outros here. We're gonna have everybody say what their favorite part was, where we can find them next, anything they'd like to share or plug, and we'll go reverse order from how we started the intros. So we'll start with Goody.
My favorite part was probably just showing Lev around the ship. It was just glorious, just showing her around the ship when it's like, yeah, so this is our sadistic space cowboy. We adopted him. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But like, yeah, that was probably my favorite part. And then just like the shopping was fun. But yeah, I'm not really doing anything online right now. So I will be here next week.
All right. Next we've got Hannah. Favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
I think my favorite part was just the very little moment of Billy going, oh, "You guys do call names too?" I just enjoyed that little bit of flavor text. It was fun, and then getting to see Rip like pull out his knowledge about the handshake stuff too was good. That was my favorite. I will obviously be back here next week for more shenanigans as we go into an active war zone. It'll be great. And then also catch me on Friday for episode 1 of Avatar, noon Mountain Time. We're very excited for that.
Absolutely. I've been very, very anxious to get it started.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to be so much fun. That'll be over on our YouTube channel.
Oh, yes, YouTube.
Alex, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you, and anything you want to share or plug?
I think my favorite part is all of us realizing, no, we've actually adopted Rip at this point. He's been, even by Sparky, like with that whole emotional scene, they have never felt more like a strange parental unit to estranged almost child ward thing. Like, it's got a very familial sort of strain to it but it's not a true familial sort of relationship. So it's interesting and like, and then combine it with the fact that both of them are actually kind of low key trying to figure out how to fix it in some ways so they can at least work together. And the fact that Rip is actually like being quite nice to Billy and stuff. Also, it just makes my heart warm whenever like I realized Billy's the favorite child of Captain. And I realized that today when Captain was just going off about how awesome Billy was. And it's like, do I need to be gentle? It's like, well, yes, you need to be careful with Billy. She's been through a lot. Don't touch my child. It was just
Never talk to me or my son ever again.
Yeah.
Like, it's a complete 180 from how I'm used to her interacting with the crew sometimes, of being low-key disappointed in them most of the time, to having her being like, no, this is my child.
Yeah.
They are exactly as they're meant to be.
She just knows y'all can do better. So, like,
Billy's
get
gonna
on it.
disappoint her so bad with that crit fail.
Well, she knows that it happens.
It's
And
not a
that's how you
season if
know
someone doesn't
Billy's the
disappoint Kat.
favorite child.
You're all the favorite child. She just
You
relates
can
to Billy
find me
more.
around, I actually doing work on a webcomic project that V is also part of called Neon Devils over on Webtoons. We've got like 5 or 6 pages out now, and it's really cool art. It's a whole group of us working together on the project, so it's got like really neat combo of different storytelling styles with different art styles, and kind of all blends together. Very cool. And aside from that, you can find me around on Twitter at CanChaosArt, or back here next Saturday.
Awesome. Next, V, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
I don't know. There were a lot of little tiny pieces that were my favorite throughout. Once again, hats off to Hannah for integrating into the absolute bullshit mess that is our crew. Even just a couple of episodes in, and Lev is really delightful. So it's been really, really fun to see how Lev kind of fits into everything and where we go from here. So I'm excited to see.
I do look forward to finally interacting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Lev and Annie are going to be very, very interesting, I think. Annie is... she's a shit disturber. I'm not going to mince words. She's a shit disturber. So I feel like that energy bouncing off Lev is going to be really interesting to see. But yeah, everything that everybody else said, absolutely fantastic. Never a dull moment with this crew, even on our downtimes. There's just too much happening in a good way. I love it all. I'm also interested to see how many more times Annie's almost going to punch Rip in the nose throughout his time on the ship. I'm ready for it. As for myself, you can find me here next week for more Animus. You can also find me online. I have an art Twitter, which is at PepperoJaws. And that's Pepper like the candy. And yeah, like Alex mentioned, Neon Devils comic on Webtoon. I do the coloring for some of the newer pages, so check that out. I also do the editing and the lettering of the speech bubbles, which is super fun. But yeah,
Seriously, the writing for our speech bubbles is so good.
I love working on the comic. It's so fun, and the amount of times that Yaz and I pass the page back together, it's like a game of hot potato. Like, there's one more thing we have to fix. No, we have to fix this too. I got to change this. Send it back to me. So it's an interesting process, but definitely check it out. Super fun, and the crew is absolutely amazing. So check out the comic.
Awesome. Next we've got Jay. Favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
I think my favorite part was something that was kind of touched on last episode, but I really liked seeing it come to fruition this episode, was Annie taking Billy under her wing. not just fashion wise, but kind of just like helping. Like Captain has definitely chosen Billy as the favorite, but Annie is like, listen, you've got the mom, but I'm the big sister who's going to show you like how to, how to own things and enjoy fashion, even if it's
I'm gonna
going to be
sneak you the
totally out
alcohol.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That was lovely. I also really enjoyed Lev, like making the med space her own, like just really not taking charge, but like making the best of a really
I
weird
keep
situation.
expecting that whenever they go in there, they're just gonna find Lev at one point, just like having a set of hand weights in there and
Yeah.
like drinking sports drink.
I can totally see that.
I'm not a pro. It's just a lot of work. I gotta be strong if I'm gonna be a combat medic.
Have you seen these slabs of meat they put on the battlefield? You gotta haul them around. There's no wagons. Yeah, other than that, I think it is nice to see Rip's like underbelly, if for lack of a better term, even if it's just for a brief moment. It's nice to see those little peaks of like, oh, he's not just a like caricature of a shitty cowboy. Like he does have like genuine feelings. He just doesn't address them because he's got trauma like the rest of us.
Oh no, he's human.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
It's like the worst realization, really. Oh, now I can empathize with you.
Like when you
Oh.
actually like look at your parents and realize, oh, you're people.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I can't wait for my kid to look at me and say that.
Right.
It'll be great. It'll be
You're like,
great.
all right, kid. I got
Oh,
books
that'll be
and books to
fun.
talk over. Yeah, I'll be here next week, same time, same channel, and I will also be helping Hannah move into a new place soon. So I'm excited to see what that looks like visually. And otherwise, like I said last session, I do have plans to release something this year. It is still tentative because my life is like there's just so much shit going on that's really positive, but I can't plan around it. So my hope is mid-year at latest. So keep an eye peeled. Just one though. I'm gonna do tricks with the other. Anyway, I'm done.
All right. That just leaves me. My favorite part. That beautiful performance by Jay with the talk with Rip was definitely top of the list. That was amazing. But also echoing some of the stuff that everybody else has mentioned, which is it's been really fun to see Rip develop a personality. Like he's always had one. I've always had plans for like what his background is and like all that, but getting to actually act it out is really fun, and getting to see all of you reacting to like the I think it was Goody that said like, oh no, they're human. It's just been great. And the symbolic change of a black hat to a gray hat was fun to throw in there as well, because he does follow the like spaghetti western stereotypes, and that's one of them is like the bad guy always has the black hat, the good guys always have the white hat. So that was fun to throw in there just as a little.
Anti-heroes have the gray hat.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Rip. You just changed your alignment.
Yep, pretty much.
The cowboy alignment.
Pretty much. So that was fun to throw in there. And yeah, I enjoyed the whole thing. It was a lot of fun. Where you can find me next, today is Saturday, so it'll be right back here at the same time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday for Champions of the Fae. It's our D&D 5th edition game where we're in the Feywilds, and all the different Fey realms have somehow like sort of merged together in weird ways, and we're all trying to figure out what the heck's going on and fix it, because like whole areas are not there anymore. Our party works together in really weird non-traditional ways, especially in combat, so it's been a lot of fun. We've got, I mean, every game has characters, but this game has characters. It's very fun. Definitely recommend checking it out. And then yeah, Friday over on our YouTube channel for YouTube Fridays at noon Mountain Time, we've got the Avatar game. 6 p.m. Mountain Time, we've got Welcome to Madison, which is a surreal horror that also uses the fundamental RPG system. And then Saturday we'll be back here at the same time. So that's everything coming up. Other things to share or plug. I probably have things that I can't think of at the moment. The quick play guide for Fundamental RPG, which is the system that we use for Animus, and Welcome to Madison this season. That was the other one. We've used it for a lot of other games too. There's a quick play guide that you can get at coffee.com/Raven, like it's spelled at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. It's 100% free. It's about 16 pages long, I think. And it'll basically give you the basics so you can try out the system and kind of see how it works. So go check that out and pick that up. And then other things are our sponsors, which is, as previously mentioned, Fundamental RPG. I'm going to get those links into chat again. It's a simple D20 system. It's not tied to a genre, so you can use it for sci-fi like this, or high fantasy, or anything that you'd like. The full book looks like this, and you can pick it up on Amazon. If you want the PDF, you can go to coffee.com/Raven, like it's spelled at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and you can just pick the PDF up there directly, or you can try out the quick play guide if you want to try it out first. And that's that. And then also Die Hard Dice. They sell amazing polymer and metal dice sets and accessories. You can find all of their stuff at dieharddice.com. If you use the code FUNRPG, all capital letters, you can get 10% off of your entire order. And then I highly recommend this set, the Fairy set. What I've been using tonight, it's been making real interesting rolls for the party tonight. But they look like this. They've got these little pastel rainbows inside, like a green sort of coating and sparkles. They're a lot of fun to roll. There's a link straight to those in chat. And then if you want to catch up on the other 54 episodes of this show, or any others that we have on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network, or on our YouTube channel, which just go to YouTube and type in Black Feather Guild and will be the first thing to pop up. And I think that's everything. So we're going to go on a raid. We're going to go raid Milady Saito. She's a fantastic streamer. Definitely give her a follow if you're not doing so already. And then I will see you all on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.